Fitzgerald is going to take it into Green Bay territory.
The show exclusively known as the voice of the Arizona Cardinals fan club, the Bird Gang.
Fitzgerald inside the 30, the 20, 30, Fitzgerald. It's insane.
Now with your host, Earl Burnett, a.k.a. Casual E.
Bird Gang on 3, 1, 2, 3, Bird Gang.
What's up, Bird Gang? What's up, Suns Nation, D-Back Nation, and even you Coyote fans out there? It is the Casual Sports Show. It is Earl Burnett, a.k.a. Casual E, and my man Flex is with me on this show live here on Facebook Live. And we are doing our Suns podcast right here on the KSRN network. What's up, Flex, man?
What's up, my brother? Ready to get this going. Big day of guest today, man. Super excited.
Yeah, we got to be having a good guest in today. Like, of course, we told you guys it was going to be a Suns blitz going on of all the Suns guys coming in. We had already John Bloom, and now we got broadcaster Kevin Ray's going to join us. He might be having a little difficulty getting in, but he should be joining us soon. If the if the email is right.
Yeah, this is technology. This is 2021, man. So we gotta we're waiting on K Ray.
We're good. He's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So if you want to follow the show, of course, we're on Facebook Live. We're on our YouTube channel, all with both with the same tag, Casual Sports, KAZUAL, and the Z is at the end of the word sports. And we're going to go ahead and get into some Sun stuff early now. But before we get into that, we'll wait for Kevin on the Sun stuff. So what's on your mind, bro?
Hey, man, just yesterday was a little disappointing, but we'll get into that. I mean, I'm okay with what happened yesterday. We just got to get into it. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, man. Yeah, that just so you know, that email you gave me is the correct one. That's the one I sent it to. So.
Okay.
We should be good. I'll send it the third time if you need me to.
Yeah. No, we ladies and gentlemen, we just, like we said, we're having a technical difficulty trying to get K-Ray on. We got sorting through this right now, but he should be on shortly, man. All
right, man. So let's look around the NBA right now as far as the playoff seeding goes. Where are we standing right now? You got that pulled up?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's getting tight. It's getting tight, brother.
I know.
It's getting tight, man. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, everybody listening here is worried about, the Phoenix Suns and how the standings play out for us. And that loss yesterday against Golden State
didn't hurt us.
It wasn't ideal for the 1 seed. It basically, I mean, in no short form, might have knocked us out of any chance of actually getting that 1 seed.
Right.
But we're kind of locked into that too. I think at this point right now, unless Utah completely goes, off the grid and just loses every game going forward, I don't think we can make up 2 games in 3 nights. The way Utah's playing, but I think I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We would definitely have to win, of course, to win out to get the number 1 seed, though, right?
Oh yeah, we'd have to win out. And they'd have to basically lose out. I mean, we own the tiebreaker, so it's one of those things that I just don't think one is something that we need to be talking about right now. But we're right now looking more at what's going on with that 6-7 playing thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
By the way, man, listen, K-Ray's got nothing, man.
Are you serious?
He said try the Gmail, so we're gonna try the Gmail, man.
All right.
This doesn't normally happen, guys, but unfortunately,
this is what happens when you got a rush going. You know how I am, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you his Gmail and see if that works.
All right, bro.
And then we'll try to make it work. This is not how it usually goes down, though, guys. But yeah, I just sent you it. It's basically a very similar one, just with a Gmail at the end. Hold on.
So it's the exact same thing, but just Gmail.
Yeah. So we're gonna send this, guys. We're gonna get this fixed here. We gotta get K-Ray on the phone. And get this squared away. So There we go. That's another one he just sent me. We got K-Ray on the phone. We're just trying to get him on a video chat with us, so we could bring him into the broadcast studio and chop it up with him. So while Earl is sitting here trying to figure out the K-Ray situation, man, I'm gonna get into a little bit of the situation with the Lakers tonight, man. So listen, the Lakers, what it comes down to tonight is the Lakers got the Rockets. And if you subscribe to the idea that you're trying to avoid the Lakers in the first round, then you're rooting for the Lakers to win tonight against the Rockets. And you're also rooting for Utah to beat Portland. If Utah beats Portland, then Phoenix controls their destiny as far as the whole Lakers situation, because I believe if Phoenix beats Portland tomorrow, the Lakers go back into that 6th spot. But I got some interesting theories on this, Earl, and it's a little crazy, but the Lakers right now, LeBron was supposed to come back yesterday. Okay. And then all of a sudden he says he doesn't want to come back, and they end up beating the Knicks. But he said he would come back today against Houston. He just released a tweet and said he's not playing tonight either. Really? Yeah, so that makes me feel like something is going on here, man. It gives me a feeling like maybe the Lakers are sitting here saying we want the Suns, and that's a crazy dynamic because
didn't I say that last week. I mean,
you did say that, but yeah,
with in their minds right now, everybody thinks the Suns are kind of willing a little bit. So I mean, that'll play a part of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Lakers, man, listen, if you're the Lakers and you got confidence that you can face up and match up with the Suns, why would you want to go up against the Clippers in the first round? So, exactly. But the whole playing thing is a whole nother animal, man. So, we still struggling with K-Ray?
It's been sent. I'm hoping he got it by now. He should just go ahead and hit the link. He should be fine. I don't know if he's having some issues. I don't know if he's having some problems with the link, but it's been sent.
I got you. You know what, man? Go ahead and drive this show. And I'm going to step away for a second. I'm actually going to call him in the back of the studio here and try to figure this out.
Guide him through, tell him the email's coming through another Gmail account. But he should be good. He should be good. I don't know what the problem is. He should be good. Okay,
go ahead and keep rocking. I'm going to step away for a second and actually call him on the phone so we can try to get him patched in here.
Oh, here we go. We're good.
Is he in?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties, man. That happens in 2021, man. That happens in 2020. There's the guy right there, man.
I'm not hearing you.
You should be good.
Let's see.
You should be
K-Ray.
good.
Can you hear us, K-Ray?
Take the mute off your mic.
You guys hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is there a mute on your
I'm not hearing you.
Take your mute off the mic.
There might be a mute on your mic, or there might be a mute button on the StreamYard at the bottom.
No. The StreamYard for us, he's fine. He's open up, ready to roll. He just needs to check his microphone. It might be muted.
Okay.
Man, we should have took care of all these little heavy difficulties earlier. But my fault, fellas. I was taking a drive all the way from freaking Chandler, trying to get all the way over to Surprise within a 40-minute limit, and that traffic wasn't helping me at all.
Hey, it's all good, man. It happens, man. It happens.
So it happens.
K-Ray, you there, K-Ray?
He's got some issues on his microphone.
Yeah.
He's good on my end, though. He's open and clear, ready to rock.
Okay, so there's a mic. His mic is muted now. So there's a thing on his mic. You can see it on his name. It says muted there.
I got it.
You good, K-Ray? You can hear us?
Good.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Sorry.
There go the guy. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Sorry about the difficulty, man.
It's all good.
But everything's all good. We're back on track.
I see you rocking the Valley, right? Is that
the
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
So now that we got you on, Kevin, we appreciate you coming in, first of all, giving us some of your valuable time. I do appreciate it. And just so you know, we do love listening to you guys on that on the TV broadcast. So I want to start right off on the bat. You know, it's all Suns centric right here we're talking about. So I want to start off on the bat and just ask you this. How much of the Suns, where we are right now, how much of it to you plays into just playoff jitters coming about for this team? Or is the moment starting to get too big for the young guys on this team that haven't been to the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't think the moment's getting too big. I do think that they're getting a dose of what those playoff moments are going to be like, because look, as intensified as the last 3 games have been, you go to the Knicks game, the Lakers game, the Warriors game.
Right.
All 3 of those teams had different levels of kind of urgency of why they were playing. And I did feel like that maybe we took our foot off the gas after having, clinched the playoff berth. And I think, some of the reality setting in for these guys is like, the work's just starting. It's a little mini celebration. You clinched the playoff spot, but the real work is just starting. And as frustrating as the loss was last night, and certainly the Lakers, and I know people, little bit concerned, a little up in arms. I look at it like I'd rather see what our flaws, our deficiencies, our weaknesses are now in a regular season game.
Right.
And yes, I'd love to have the top spot in the Western Conference, and it's still a slim possibility. But let's see what the warts are now. And now we've got an opportunity to hopefully correct them and clean them up before the real stuff starts.
Correct. Listen, here's the thing, K-Ray. Here's my thing for you, man. So there's a lot of people going crazy right now on Planet Orange. They're on the ledge. You got to talk them off. I agree with everything you said, man. Chris Paul said something in the media yesterday. He said he was talking to Carmelo Anthony, and he said that there's a feeling that the playoffs kind of started for them 3 games ago. And so, there's a part of me that believes that just with you, this team has kind of taken their foot off the pedal a little bit, but I also think there's a little bit of caution. I think they know that they're ready for the playoffs. There's a little bit of boredom maybe setting in, and at the same time caution, because maybe, like, I'll give you an example, K-Ray. Booker came out in that 4th quarter yesterday, and it was the 3-minute span when he came out that we kind of lost track of that basketball game. I truly believe if Booker stays in, we probably win that game. I think we were up 5 or 6 when he went out, and then when he came back in, it was a tie game. And the thing is people say, well, why didn't we play Book the whole game? And I think that's the caution we're talking about. Do you go all out to win a game that really means less for you than it did for Golden State, and run the risk of playing Book heavy minutes right before the playoffs? Because if something happened, then everybody will be screaming at Monty saying, why did you play Book all those minutes, right? So to talk to me about that, talk to me. Do you feel a little bit of them saying, hey, we just want to get through this healthy and then get going for the playoffs?
Oh, I think there's a certain degree of that. When you look at Book coming out, the thing that we've seen is Monty has tried to stay with his normal rotations. He's not trying to deviate. We've seen it with Chris. He's tried to shave an extra minute or 2 per quarter off of Chris per game. And it's played out well because Campaign has come in and played so well. So that's been, the benefit. And part of it too is, Monty wants to see how these bench guys with his normal rotation. That's part of their job and responsibility is like, look, he's going to the bench with a 5-point lead. Your job is to, at the very least, maintain that 5-point lead.
Right.
And to your point, it would have been great to, bounce back, get the game. But you've also got to find out how your other guys are going to operate in those crunch time situations. You've got Chris Paul out there, because I guarantee you, come playoff time, the rotations are going to shrink. The minutes will expand for Devin Booker, for Chris Paul.
Right.
But Molly wants to know, if I got a 5-point lead and Book does go to the bench, I got to know that I can feel confident with this group that's out there.
Right.
They'll, again, at the very worst, they'll be able to maintain that 5-point lead.
Right.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, K-Ray. So on those lines, as far as the group going into the playoffs and getting ready for the rotation in the playoffs, we didn't see Dario hit the court in this last game. So is that going to be a sign of what's to come going into the playoffs? Or are they kind of sending a message to Dario like, okay, just calm yourself down, look at the floor, see what you know, and try to get back into a rhythm, because when the playoffs start, we don't have time to try to get him right?
Right. Yeah, and look, it's a little bit of both, and you know, Monty has said this. He was asked about Frank's and Dario's minutes, but Monty has played the hand straight all season long, which is, look, if a guy comes in and he's playing well, he's working hard off the court in terms of, you know, extra reps, and he's coming in and providing what we need, he's going to get the minutes.
Right.
And when Dario got dinged up, it opened the door for Frank. And had Frank not responded and played well, then Dario would have come right back in, and they would have tried to work him through it. But Frank has been everything that they could have hoped for,
right.
playing in that position. And that's the way Monty has played it all season long with guys. We saw it with Cam. You know, Cam Payne went through a little stretch, 5 or 6 games where he didn't play a lot.
Yeah,
Javon went 8, 9 games where he didn't see the floor.
Right.
And it's one of the things, because of the luxury and the challenge that Monty has because of all the depth, is that you can't play 11 guys every night.
Right.
But to his credit, he's always been a straight shooter with these guys, and they know it. And you got to work hard when you're away from the game. Hopefully Dario is putting in the extra time. Hopefully he is restoring his confidence, because I do think that it's gone a long way. That the confidence or lack thereof has gone a long way in inhibiting his play. But he's just had such a disjointed season with the injuries and then dealing with the COVID. He came back, looked like he was getting into a little bit of a rhythm. Then he got nicked up a little bit.
Right.
So he's just not been able to find any real sustained, consistency outside of that 2-week stretch in February. And, unfortunately, we're at a point now where Frank is most likely, barring some, unique matchup,
right,
will be the first guy off the bench.
Right, and you do a lot of speaking with Eddie on these type of things too, being from a player's perspective. So, as Dario, shooter, not shooter, inside the paint, whatever it is, what does he need right now to feel better about himself? Right now, what does he need?
It's it really is as simple as he needs about a 10-minute run where he gets a couple layups. He gets a free throw, seeing the ball go through the hoop, making a pass. And it really is crazy when you think that here these guys are top of their game, top players in the world.
Right.
And how quickly, when we're playing at the Y, how quickly we can lose our confidence.
Right.
They can't lose their confidence. No, you can. You get 2 or 3 bad games, and it's like the golfer with the yips. All of a sudden, you're shooting the ball like this instead of like this, and
I had a bad.
It's just that little chain reaction, man.
I had a bad game 3 weeks ago. I ain't going back.
Right.
Sometimes somebody bigger and badder comes and makes you a little intimidated to go out there and attack. So
yeah, I'm gonna go down to Dave and Buster's and work on Papa Shot, man.
Hey, K-Ray, you know what? I'm glad you talked about that, because so here's the thing. There's a part of me that feels a lot. A lot of this, like you said, is psychological, right? You get the yips. I remember Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw the ball to first base at second base for the Yankees, and stuff like that happens, right? Quirky things like that happens. But here's an interesting way of looking at this. So I remember Planet Orange specifically last year when Dario went through a similar stretch. There were people saying, "Hey, we're not going to re-sign him. He's done. He's never coming back. That was a bad trade. Let him walk in free agency. He's not going to be worth the money, right?" And then the bubble happened. And he came from really not playing to playing a big role in that 8-0 run in the bubble.
Right.
So there's a part of me too that thinks maybe psychologically, this might be the best thing that's happening for Dario, because he tends to respond well when things like this have happened. At least if we can go back to last year and retract things a little bit, that's kind of how it worked out. So do you think there's a little bit of that going on? Maybe saying, hey, get right, but now you're going to have to go out there and play a different role. And when he gets back into the lineup, he seizes the moment a little bit. And this may all be a blessing when it's all said and done. What do you think?
Yeah. And look, I mean, Monty and the coaching staff haven't necessarily lost confidence in Dario. But again, their job is to put the guys on the floor that night who are going to give them the best chance to win.
Right.
And sometimes the best thing for a player is to sit over there to observe. I thought that Cam Johnson probably should have been put on the bench a game earlier than he was.
Right.
With the wrist sprain.
Yeah.
Cam, even before the wrist sprain, was going through some shooting issues. And I felt like maybe the best thing for Cam was to sit on the bench and just kind of see the game in a big picture sense.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, having a chance to sit on the sideline, heal the wrist, get himself right mentally, that he'll be ready to go. And look, I fully believe that Dario will get his chance come playoffs again.
Absolutely.
The coaching staff has not lost confidence in him.
Right.
But it's up to Dario to show them that he is taking the steps, working hard, and doing the right things. And this entire club, they've all said this about one another, is that they haven't been on a team that works harder than they do as a collective. So he's doing it. It's just a matter of now, when will that opportunity present itself? Maybe he'll get a run in those last two games against San Antonio. Maybe, maybe tomorrow night against Portland. You just don't know if somebody gets into early foul trouble, matchup situation. And again, maybe he gets a 5-6 minute run and all of a sudden things start clicking and you're like, that's the Dario from the bubble. That's the guy we need for playoffs.
Right.
We're definitely going to need him. And speaking of playoffs, like we're saying, that's where we're headed, of course. And when it comes to the playoffs, we're talking matchups. So we were talking earlier about, of course, the Lakers. Right now are in the 6th spot now. Did they get back up on
no,
6?
7? They're still in 7.
They're still at 7, a game back. It was Portland and Dallas kind of flip-flop.
Yeah. So when you think about Lakers or Golden State, regardless of those two, both those teams, the last 2 games we played them, their role players played a pretty big role shooting the ball. And in a playoff series in a game of 7 games, that's not going to happen every night. So when you look at those 2 matchups, Lakers or Golden State, which one's more favorable? Of course, we know it's got to be Golden State, even though you look at that Golden State team, you go, wow, man, did they play like that? But I would rather have them, right? Wouldn't you rather have them? Because they're not going to shoot like that in a 7-game series, right?
Have you got a third option for me?
A third option? Oh, yeah, really?
Oh, okay. So no, look, yeah. I mean, if you're getting to handpick your opponent just based on the Warriors, you'd say, yeah, I'll take my chances, against them in a 7-game series. You look at last night specifically,
right?
If you just looked at the stat sheet, for the most part, you'd go, oh, the Suns won this one by 8 or 9,
right?
But last night to me was another little snapshot, and my guess is this is what the coaching staff really broke down for the players. That game was lost last night in one category, and it's second chance points.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true.
Yes, the Warriors had 16 more shot attempts than we did. Second chance points was, I think it was 29 to 16, 26-12, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you get to the playoffs, man, loose balls and turnovers
are key.
Are such a determining factor. You have to value the rock and the 50-50 balls.
Yeah.
I think back about all those close games we had against the San Antonio Spurs back in the day.
Right.
And more often than not, you look at the stats and the Suns would shoot 50%. They'd shoot, 40% from 3. They'd get to the free throw line, 26 times and knock down 23 of them. And how did we lose? Well, you had 9 turnovers that turned into 15 points. Oh, and they had 7 more shot attempts than you did, and they outscored you in second chance points by 12.
Right.
ball game.
Yeah.
And, you just, to me, that's where Golden State was playing with just a little more sense of urgency based on their struggles throughout the course of the season. And I know they clinched the night before, but they're kind of riding their mojo right now.
They sure are, man.
Jordan Poole and Kent Bazemore are, looking like the reincarnate of, Klay Thompson's twin brother or something.
Hey, you know what? You make a great point though, K-Ray, man. Yesterday, the 50-50 balls were extraordinarily shifted towards Golden State. I mean, I'm watching the game with a buddy of mine, and I just couldn't help but repeat myself. I'm like, man, this game is not trending in the right direction because the ball's not finding Phoenix. It was finding Golden State on every opportunistic time, every big play. There were times where they shoot an air ball, and Frank had that situation. They caught the air ball, went back out of bounds. Then they get a 3 off that. There were multiple times on the baseline. So you're right, and you know what happens? Those 50-50 balls, I'm a big believer in the basketball guys, and they typically go to the team that's playing harder. That's usually how and Golden State played harder. But let me ask you this, K-Ray. Think about this last week of basketball. So, and again, I'm trying to get the people to come off the ledge a little bit because, I'm telling you, my DM box is crazy right now with Phoenix Suns fans
and my life jacket is slipping a little bit.
No.
And your hair getting a little slippery, man. Come on, man.
I got you.
You're gonna be like Titanic. I won't let go, Rose.
Right. So here's my thing, man. I'm trying to tell people. I'm saying, you know what? We haven't seen this full basketball team in the last week or two with the Jay Crowder injury and now the Cam Johnson injury and now the stuff with Dario Saric. So, how much of that is what's going on right now? I mean, I think people understand, no Dario Saric, no Cam Johnson yesterday. Those are two guys that played a tremendous role in our basketball team that didn't play last night. Cam Johnson for the wrist and Dario for coaching decision. But how much does that matter to you? Do you think we got something there?
Oh, I think it definitely, makes an impact. And, the one thing I'll say with Cam, even when he's gone through his offensive struggles, and Monty has pointed to this, he's kind of a quiet, sneaky, good defender. He has continued to evolve as a solid defender. And you look at a game like last night, because they play a little bit smaller, it's a game where you could say, man, Cam might have made a difference, in some of those plays. But the bottom line is you didn't have him. You had a chance to win. You were up 16 points.
Yeah.
You had a lead with just over 6 minutes left in the game. You got to find a way to win that game. So to me, it's like the guys who are on the floor have got to make those plays. They've got to get those 50-50 balls. You've got to close out. And how many times last night did we see the Suns play great defense for 22 seconds, 22 and a half seconds?
Yeah.
And EJ and I talked about it on the telecast. As much as I love watching Steph shoot and play, I would, if people haven't done it yet, watch a couple of Golden State games and just watch him without the ball.
Right.
What Incredible. He does without the ball is absolutely phenomenal. And it's his constant movement, nonstop movement, that puts as much, if not more, pressure on not only the guy defending him, in the case, McHale so much last night, but he's zipping by guys.
Yeah.
And when he does that, because it's Steph, you have a tendency to go, my guy's here, but dang, that was Steph. And you look like that, and all of a sudden your guy cuts behind you, and Draymond's got it in the high post, and he feeds it. I mean, they crushed us in the paint last night because we got caught kind of like, having a little whiplash defense. But that's the stress that Steph Curry put on you. Even as bad a shooting night as he had, he impacted that game because of his constant movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. I got to dip a little bit into before we get you out here. I got to dip into a little bit of the conspiracy stuff a little bit. when I'm watching these games, man, it just tell me if I'm right or wrong. I mean, it just could be just me, but it just seems like the referees got it out for the Suns, man. And it seemed like none of those calls that the superstars get, like a LeBron or the guys that can score,
or
like
Steph Curry last
Steph
night.
Curry.
Yeah.
LeBron, we're gonna face if we face the Lakers, if it's Steph Curry and the Warriors, we're gonna face them. If it's Portland, I mean, is Dame getting those calls? All these Melo gets these calls. Book is not getting those calls. I mean, what is going on? What do they have to do to finally get over that hump?
Yeah, and look,
playoff series.
I feel your pain a little bit, and there's some nights where it really feels more, exaggerated than others. There were certainly 2 or 3 times last night where you go, "And really,
right.
no call." But the only thing that I can say, and I'm sure this is what Monty is telling the guys, is like, look, you earn the respect. We've continued to work our way through the league. We're going to get into the playoffs. The bottom line is you can't allow it to frustrate you. And look, I thought that's one of the reasons why Book played so well last night.
I agree.
You've seen him a few games where he got a little sideways and got focused too much on the non-calls,
right,
and what's going on, away from the ball. But I thought when he and Toscano got tangled up a little bit, and he was chirping, and it's like Book just flipped the switch, and he had this. And I made the comment last night. It didn't look like his pulse rate raised the rest of the night.
That's fact.
And he just went off, and that's the mindset that you've got to take. And for us as broadcasters and fans, it's excruciating sometimes. It's painful. It does feel like, man, the other guys are getting more calls, but it's just kind of part of the game. And you hope at the end of the day, we're making enough plays and getting enough attention to get ourselves to the line and to get a few of those whistles.
So what's your level of concern for the young guys? Of course, like Book having never been there too, but his being locked in the way he is now, that's the Book we're going to be seeing in the playoffs, I'd imagine. But the other guys, we can't waste these performances from Book and CP3 at the same time on the court. These young guys have to take advantage of when those two guys got it going like that. Somebody else has to show up. What is your level of concern with these young guys, especially Ayton, going into this playoff run?
Let's talk about that. Go ahead, K-Ray.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know if it's concern as much as it is. I'm looking on with great curiosity to see how these guys respond. And Jay Crowder said it. Chris Paul has said it. They can talk, and Monty can talk, because these guys, he and Willie Green, they've been in playoff games. They coached in playoff games.
Right.
You can talk until you're blue in the face.
Exactly.
But the only way to experience the playoff pressures and intensity is to experience playoff pressures and intensity. And I mean, like, you feel it the moment you come out of the tunnel.
Right.
Even with a limited capacity of fans, I assure you that, the 22nd or 23rd, whenever that first game is going to be, that when those guys come out of the tunnel, they're going to feel like this rush that they have never felt or experienced at any level of basketball. Mikal Bridges has played in a couple of national championship games, has won them. And as big a stage as that was, it will pale in comparison. And then it will go up another notch when the ball gets tipped off.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And when the play starts going. And I only say that from a broadcaster who experienced it, courtside, with Nash and Amari and those guys, and just feeling this wave of electricity and energy on the sideline. And I'm like,
you me pumped, K-Ray.
I can't even imagine what it's like to be a player.
Right.
And I wish I had a clear-cut answer for you, but I will be, as many will be, looking on with great curiosity and interest to see how this team reacts, how they respond, especially those first 5 or 6 minutes of that first playoff game, because that'll go a long way in telling you what level of confidence and ability they'll have to continue to execute and be successful.
I got a question, K-Ray, real quick. I know we're running short on time here, and I appreciate you for coming on, brother. I really do. You're the best,
Absolutely.
man. But check this out, man. So DeAndre Ayton, the last 2 games, 5 shots and then 3 shots yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 shots and then 5 shots yesterday,
right, against
a very small Golden State team. So I'm looking at that, and I'm hearing people saying, hey, man, DeAndre Ayton got to do more. DeAndre Ayton has to do this. You have a football background, right? Don't you? You call is it the Cowboys? As it used to be, or
I do the Cowboys radio play-by-play for Compass Media.
There you go. So you know what I'm talking about, brother. So here's the thing, K-Ray. When a running back only gets 5 carries, no one says it's the running back's fault. It's the coach's fault, right? If running back can't determine his carries, that's a play call. I'm sitting here and I'm saying, man, people have to really understand that it's part of the coaching staff's responsibility and part of Chris Paul's responsibility to make sure that DeAndre Ayton is getting touches against Draymond Green and smaller defenders in a game like yesterday. When you see him only get 5 touches, I see people, asking him to do more. But at what point do you say, hey, man, we have to make a conscious effort of feeding the big fella, especially when we have the advantage, and especially now as the season's running down, because you don't want to have these problems when like you said, when the ball goes up in the playoffs, it's a whole different animal. So how much of that do you think is the coaching staff, and how much do you think is DeAndre?
Well, and you hit it perfectly, because it is a shared responsibility. Right. DA had 3 good looks early, and there was one in particular where he faced up. He caught it, swung around, faced up on Looney, and shot it quickly and knocked it down.
Yeah, beautiful.
That was in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe, his 2nd or 3rd field goal attempt of the game. And I made the comment to EJ, that's going to be there for him throughout much of the night.
Yeah.
Now, Chris Paul got it going. Devin Booker got it going. But the thing that we've heard Monty also talk about with DA is when he's not getting touches. You remember the second chance points that we talked about, the rebounds. They had 12 offensive rebounds last night. And his first responsibility and priority is to rebound, defend, and when you rebound, you outlet, you run the floor, and you put pressure on that defense. What did we see against the Knicks? We saw him rebound. We saw him sprint to the rim.
Right.
And he got payoff passes, and you put so much pressure on the defense to get back. Now, on the other side of that, there were moments where they could have and should have got him the ball, but there was 2 or 3 times in the fourth quarter early on where they threw it into him, and he had his back to the basket, had the smaller defender,
right,
and he allowed himself to get pushed off the block.
Right.
That can't happen.
Right.
So it's a shared responsibility. I know Chris had said afterwards that, he's got to do better at getting the ball, but DA as a 7-footer has to play and make himself available like a 7-footer. You get yourself set deep in the paint, you call for it, you don't allow yourself to get pushed out of the paint. And you make a strong move to the basket. At the very least, you get yourself fouled and get to the free throw line. You force the defense to collapse. So it's a shared responsibility. It's the kind of checks and balances that the coaches will go back and look at and say, we missed probably 4 or 5 chances to swing the ball and get it into him. But again, the other part of it is DA has got to make himself available, which is, present yourself to the passer, whoever it is, whether it's Mikal, Devin, Cameron Payne, and you can't allow yourself to get pushed off the block. And I promise you, if he thinks that the play this last week has been physical, this is going to be like patty cake compared to what he's got coming up in the postseason. And I'm hoping that Mark Bryant, who's done such a wonderful job in working with DA, over the last season and a half, can really implore him, look, man, you're 7 feet tall. So when you get into the paint, you don't allow anybody to push you out. And if they do, there better be a foul called as a result.
I agree with you 100% on that, K-Ray. And I want to piggyback that a little bit too, because DA can also create his own momentum sometimes if the ball's not coming to his way. And what I mean by that is I've seen 3 different times he's got offensive rebounds and he's right at the rim and he can go right back up strong to the rim and he throws it back out. I don't particularly like that too much. When you got a shorter guy on you and you get an offensive rebound, your first thought process should be attack the rim. And I think he throws it back out way too much. Create your own momentum and get your own buckets sometimes with that offensive rebound, because he gets a lot of those offensive rebounds for the team. Make that a time when you're touching the ball and you can score underneath.
Well, and to your point, he's number 4 in the league in offensive rebound.
Exactly.
Number 4. So you're going to face a guy tomorrow night in Enes Kanter who is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. And he doesn't get plays run for him. And I know Enes Kanter and DA are 2 completely different centers. But to your point, 3 offensive rebound putbacks is what? 3 more field goal attempts.
There you go.
From 5 field goal attempts to 8 field goal attempts.
Yep.
Maybe you get to the line 3 times or 2 times.
Get to the line exactly.
Get an and 1. So that's where Monty has tried to get him to understand. Look, I mean, there's only so many shots and so many possessions available.
Exactly.
And as a 7-footer, you've got to go in there. And if you're getting a rebound and you're right there at the rim, yeah, we've got great offensive weapons on the outside, but get a head fake, get a foul, and get an and 1.
Right.
There's 3 points for you.
Yeah, there was a time when the shot clock was going down, 3 seconds on the shot clock. He's holding the ball right under the rim and he throws it back out. Like, you got 3 seconds, shoot the ball. No, but
you know what? I think that's the 22-year-old.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's
no, you're right, Flex, and it's a 22-year-old who is playing with some supremely talented offensive weapons. And look, it's the part of DA that you do love, because he is a willing recipient of constructive criticism. So I give him tip of the cap for that. But he is oftentimes too unselfish and almost forgetting that I am 7 feet tall and I've got a 4-inch difference between myself and the guy that I just rebounded the ball over. So why am I kicking it out? Right. So it's that switch that is going to have to get flipped come playoff time, because you miss those, point blank opportunities and kick it out for a missed 3 or a missed 2 that turns into, 2 or 3 the other way.
Right.
It's a difference in a playoff game. And as Jay Crowder said, those little plays can not only make the difference in a playoff game, but a playoff series.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would love our mindset to get more in attacking the rim before we start shooting the 3 so much going into the playoffs as well. That's going to be key. K-Ray, man, we appreciate you coming and giving us your valuable time again, man. We love you, man. And when your son's insight is always top notch. And we look forward to the next few broadcasts that's going on. Let's just give me going out.
Give us
these last 3 games to calm down the Suns Nation, and let us know where you think we're going to end up about these last 3 games and how we should handle these last 3 games.
Drop the mic, K-Ray. Let's go.
Look, I understand the anxieties of the Suns fans. I mean, it's been a minute since we've been in the postseason, so I get it. I mean, look, as a broadcaster, I want it to be a long, fun playoff run. Absolutely. And you get a couple losses like the last 2 games, and all of a sudden the mind starts racing. You think, oh man, we haven't been to the playoffs in so long. I don't want to get swept. Just step back from the ledge. Get out of casual and Flex's DMs. Just go breathe some air. Go take a nice hike out here. We'll be okay. We've got 3 games to get things corrected. And look, we've got a nice, because we're going to finish in the top couple spots. We're going to have that 5-6 day break, and that's going to go a long way in correcting a lot of things.
All right.
So yeah, go enjoy the Arizona sunshine, man. we're sitting in a spot that we haven't been in a while, and just enjoy the ride. It's going to be fun.
K-Ray, you are the man, bro. I love you. Thank you for doing this, man. We got to get you back on. That's why you're the best in the business. That's why we wanted you, man. You chopped it up. So let's try to keep this going, man. We get to the second round. You know, we keep this going, brother. I'll be in touch.
Real quick.
Hey, the email box. Yeah, you got 2 emails. So send it to one. I'm always available for you.
Got you, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Take care, fellas.
Peace out, brother.
That dude's awesome.
Man, K-Ray is the best, man. This guy's been doing it a long time. He knows what he's talking about. I love listening to him on the broadcast every night. And he's a great dude, man. Great dude. So shout out to K-Ray, man. And hopefully if we advance, we can get him on again without the technical difficulties.
Exactly. I'm starting to kind of figure you out a little bit, Flex. Figure you out. Are you at first I thought you were just a real positive person, which you are. I just thought maybe just try to see the silver lining in every little thing. But you really believe in this Suns team. You really see something that maybe some of us are not seeing, bro. I gotta get that to you. Hang on to your thoughts and you hang on to nope. He's still freaking 22, y'all. And I'm like, bull crap.
Hey, you know what it is, E?
I feel you, man. I feel you.
I'm going to tell you what it is, E. It's crazy that you brought that up about Bleav because we just put that article out on Bleav these Suns on the KSRN website.
Right, too, man.
Right. So
good article, too, bro. Good article.
I appreciate you, my brother. But, I truly believe in this basketball team. I truly believe that there's a calmness over me that I haven't had in many years with this basketball team. I just feel like there's something brewing here that just feels different. And so I know it's a little bit panicky at the end right now, and I know people are nitpicking a little bit, but I want everybody to take a deep breath, and I can't wait to see this team under the playoff pressure and that environment because I think it's going to actually do them a lot. It's going to do them well. So we'll be all right, brother. Let's keep it going though.
All right, man. I'm still hanging on to the boat, man. I'm still hanging on. But
don't let go, man. Don't let go.
I ain't letting go. I'm good. This has been another edition of the Bleav the Suns podcast. Bleav the Suns podcast show right here on KSRN. My Flex, Felix Cruz Flex from Jersey. My man, of course, Earl Burnett, aka Casual E. We bring this to y'all every time we get a chance, and we got one good one coming up again. We got another good one coming up again.
About 1 hour, baby. In about 1 hour, man.
Coming up in an hour. And then after that, we got another Suns guy coming on Friday. I mean, it's just going. It's just going. So,
hey, let me just make sure people understand this, man. Take this next hour, go get you a drink, some chips, popcorn, whatever you want. Because we about to have the homie Brandon Broadus on the show, man. YouTube sensation. It's gonna be a great time talking to him.
Suns, man. You talking Suns,
man. We're gonna talk some Suns. We're gonna get to know him a little bit, man. And then we got my boy Tim Kempton, the big fella, New York's finest, 1986 All-American, McDonald's All-American, New York State MVP. We got the big fella to talk some basketball on Friday, so it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Stay tuned.
So y'all stay tuned and keep your ears and your eyes definitely open for the live stream. And we appreciate you, every last one of you that come up on the comments here and are watching. We appreciate you. And we will catch you next time. Peace out. Until
Peace out,